Okay, well, welcome to our webinar on Tennessee Reconnect, everyone. This is an incredible program. It's an initiative designed to support adults in their educational journey towards earning a credential and advancing their careers through a college education. So we're really excited about that. My name is Sarah Marrero, and I'm the coordinator of college access communications here at the Tennessee Higher Education Commission. And I'm joined today by some of our amazing Navigate Reconnect staff, and I'll introduce them in just a moment for this webinar today. And we're going to talk about how adults in Tennessee can complete a credential that they've already started, or they can begin their college journey for the first time, which is very exciting. So we're going to explore some of the pathways, some of the resources that are available to adult learners in the state of Tennessee. So I'm going to introduce some of our speakers today. We have Jessica Gibson here, and she is the Navigate Reconnect Senior Director. We have Tina Bishop, who is the Navigate Reconnect Director, and then Destiny Duff, who is the Engagement Coordinator for Adult Learner Initiatives. So thank you, friends, for being here. We really, really appreciate it. And without further ado, I will go ahead and hand it off to you.
Thank you, Sarah, and thanks everyone for joining us today. We're really happy to be here. We like to take every opportunity we can to talk about adult learners and the options that are available to them in Tennessee, which are actually pretty numerous, and a lot of people don't always know about them. So if you want to, Destiny, let's go ahead, and you've met us. Jessica Gibson, Senior Director of Adult Learner Initiatives, Tina and Destiny here. We've been introduced. So Destiny, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so during today's webinar, we're going to be talking about all things Reconnect. So that does, of course, include the Tennessee Reconnect grant, but it also includes the other services that adults can access on the way to a degree. We'll talk about our mission, so why we do what we do, the benefits of a degree, the myths and the facts around Tennessee Reconnect. Also, some great information about ways you can be involved through the Tennessee Reconnect Ambassador Program. And then we'll have opportunities for questions and answers throughout. It's important to talk about, of course, why we do what we do. And simply put, the mission of Tennessee Reconnect is to help more adults return to higher education to gain new skills, advance in the workplace, and fulfill their lifelong dreams of completing a degree or credential. I think that's important for us to identify, because often we do focus on the career aspects, which are numerous, but this is often a dream for many adults to go back to school and complete a degree or start and finish one. And the way we do that at THEC is we really want to help more adults attend community colleges or technical colleges or universities to complete the degree. And we do this by removing barriers and creating pathways for adults that lead to high demand careers and lifelong success. Destiny, if you want to go to the next. It's important for us to talk about the benefits of having a degree or a post-secondary credential, because going back to college is a big decision for most adults. So we're going to start by talking about the career benefits. So one of the most often talked about benefits is increased earning potential over one's lifetime. So on average, individuals with a college degree or certificate earn higher salaries over their lifetimes compared to those without higher education qualifications. The degree comes with an expanded skill set that can be applied in various aspects of life and work. And along with that, a degree can open doors to higher paying jobs and career advancement opportunities. And finally, a degree can bring with it job security and increased employability. We saw this a lot. We see this a lot in economic downturns, actually. Those who tend to hang on to jobs are those that have credentials. So we'll go to the next slide. And as I mentioned, we often focus on the tangible benefits that a degree can bring, just like I just described. But when we talk to adults who want to finish college or go for the first time, they often talk about self-actualization, meeting goals, accomplishing things, being role models for their kids and their family members. That's a really big one. Really the pride that comes with it. And we can really see this too in the impacts on quality of life. So we know that higher education is linked to better health outcomes, increased civic engagement, and overall improved quality of life.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Tina Bishop. As she mentioned earlier, I am the director of Navigate Reconnect, and I want to spend some time with you about Navigate Reconnect and Tennessee Reconnect. Next slide, please, Destiny. So Navigate Reconnect is the regionally organized component of Tennessee Reconnect, which focuses on offering adult students a single point of contact for college navigation and support services. So I'm often asked, what's the difference between Tennessee Reconnect and Navigate Reconnect? So Tennessee Reconnect refers to the name of the initiative to help more adults either enroll for the first time or return to pursue their education. It's also the funding source for the mandatory tuition and fees, and we'll talk more in a moment about what the Tennessee Reconnect grant provides. Navigate Reconnect, it refers to the outreach services under the umbrella of Tennessee Reconnect. So what that means, that single point of contact is speaking about our navigators. We have a team of individuals that are regionally based across the state of Tennessee that assist adults towards their degree pursuits. Next slide, Destiny. So navigators, what do navigators do? What services do we provide through our navigation services? So first and foremost, we provide free institution neutral college navigation services. And what that means is no matter where an adult learner is considering going, what program they're looking into, what type of institution, be it 2-year, technical, 4-year, whatever that may be, we provide services that are neutral. We're not going to push anybody towards one in particular place. It's going to be based upon their needs and their fit and the programs they're interested in. We can also offer career exploration tools. And so this is for individuals where maybe you're not sure exactly what degree you'd like to pursue or what career you'll end up going for. Or maybe you do have an interest area, but these tools can help you hone in on things you may be good at, and you didn't know about perhaps, or interest areas for you to consider. And then once you enroll in your institution, they have career exploration and development tools available to you as well. So we also offer assistance understanding financial aid and college costs. And this is a broad topic, but what this translates to is that in order to receive financial assistance, you must fill out the free application for federal student aid, otherwise known as the FAFSA. And once you've done that, you'll start to receive communications from the institutions in which you've sent these results of your FAFSA form. And so sometimes you need a little bit of assistance understanding what those award letters mean, what's the difference between grants and loans, how much does it actually cost to attend different institutions. And so what a navigator can do is help you understand all those implications and put that together with costs versus what financial aid you may be eligible for. We also provide connection to community resources. So what we all have learned through doing this work and know is true is that there is more to the cost of college than mandatory tuition and fees. There are outside things such as books, transportation to and from your institution if you're attending on ground. There's supplies. There's, if you're attending a trade, maybe there's tools. Or if you're considering a trade, maybe there's tools that you need in uniforms, that type of thing, all kinds of different things that are outside of just mandatory tuition and fees. We look to our community resources to assist students with those costs. So what we can do is connect students with individuals in the community that can help with childcare perhaps, or food assistance, or transportation, those types of things. And then finally, partnership. And this one is kind of twofold. So first and foremost, the navigator is in partnership with adult learners to assist them towards their educational goals. So you're working together, providing resources, having counseling conversations, connecting people, adult learners to people at institutions and community resources that can help them. But then also partnership with our institutional partners, for example. We work to have our navigators, and we also have regional directors that build partnerships with people in admissions offices at institutions, people in financial aid offices, records, those types of student-facing services that individual students interact with when they're pursuing their education. We work to have partners so we can directly connect our students to people at institutions that can help them depending on what their needs are and their questions are. So next slide, Destiny, please. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what the Tennessee Reconnect grant is. So Tennessee Reconnect grant is a last dollar grant for the which pays the remaining balance of tuition and mandatory fees for adult learners. And what that means is after a student fills out the FAFSA form, they may be eligible for different types of federal aid, state aid, any types of scholarships, that type of thing. Once those dollars that students are eligible for have been applied to their account, Tennessee Reconnect will pay if there is a remaining balance. Some of our students get the Pell Grant, for example, which is a federal grant that you don't have to pay back. If that's the case, then Tennessee Reconnect dollars aren't necessary. But if perhaps you're not eligible for that grant, or your entire tuition and mandatory fees are you have a balance of that entire amount. If you're eligible for the Tennessee Reconnect grant, it will pay the balance at eligible institutions. And we'll talk about those in a moment as well. The Tennessee Reconnect grant applies towards associate degrees, technical degrees, or technical diplomas. So this is if you're going to attend a community college. We have 13 community colleges across the state of Tennessee in which you can use the Tennessee Reconnect grant, and it would cover the mandatory tuition and fees at those institutions if you are eligible. We have over 28 Tennessee College of Applied Technology schools, otherwise known as TCAT. And one thing to remember about the grant is that it's not income specific. So there's not a cutoff of an income or a household income combined with your individual partners, spouses. There's no limit as far as income goes. That's not a criteria for the Tennessee Reconnect grant eligibility. Next slide, please, Des. Bit in depth about the eligibility criteria. So first and foremost, you need to be a Tennessee resident, and this is determined by the institutions in which you attend. So they will be gathering paperwork and items from you to determine whether or not you're a full-time resident of the state. You must complete the FAFSA form, as I mentioned earlier, the free application for federal student aid, and be classified as an independent student or be 23 years of age or older in the academic year in which you enroll. So it's important to note for students attending a TCAT, you must be classified as an independent. There's not an age that makes you independent at the Tennessee College of Applied Technology schools. You must not have previously earned an associate or baccalaureate degree. An exception here that is definitely notable, if you have earned an associate degree, a bachelor's degree, maybe you have even a master's or a PhD, none of these would prevent you from accessing the Tennessee College of TCAT, Tennessee College of Applied Technology Reconnect grant if you are otherwise eligible. You meet the other eligibility criteria. A degree itself is not going to prevent you from receiving grant funds. You must be a U.S. citizen or eligible non-citizen. You must not be incarcerated, but it's important to note that we have a team of navigators that assist individuals who are incarcerated to, one, prepare for enrollment upon release from the facility, or to consider options while in facility. There are some educational programs that people who are incarcerated can pursue while they're in the facility before their release. So also, you cannot be in default on a student loan. However, please note, if you are in default of a loan, please reach out to a navigator to assist you on how to get out of a default and what your next steps are. And we're going to talk about how to connect to a navigator coming up in the presentation as well. You must not have an outstanding balance of previously awarded aid to an institution. So if you owe money to an institution, then that has to be resolved before you enroll and before you can receive grant dollars. But definitely reach out to a navigator if that's the case to help you talk about your options there. You must be admitted to an eligible institution and enrolled at least part-time. For most college level classes, they are 3 hours per course. So a minimum of 2 courses at the community colleges. The trimesters at technical colleges are a little different, and that at technical college requires full-time enrollment to be eligible for grant dollars. But if you're attending a community college or an eligible four-year institution, you must be enrolled for 6 credit hours, at least 2 classes, roughly, in order to receive the grant funds. And this is just for the fall and spring semester, the major terms. Summer is an optional term. And you must complete the application and Reconnect Success Plan in the Tennessee Student Assistance Corporation portal. So we can assist you on how to access that and fill that out, but that is after the FAFSA is completed. Definitely complete the Tennessee Reconnect application portal. Next slide, please. So definitely want to point out here that navigation services from our team of navigators. 1 is a free of charge service, and 2, we work with all adults. So it doesn't matter if you are 18 or older or 50 or older. You're eligible and you can and should work with a navigator free of charge to help you pursue your educational goals and help you determine your eligibility as well. Next slide, please. And so let's take some time now to talk about the myths and facts around the Tennessee Reconnect grant. So first and foremost, a myth is that only adults without any previous credit can utilize the Tennessee Reconnect grant to earn their associate degree. The fact is, previous college credit does not disqualify you as an adult learner from utilizing the grant funds. Actually, previous credit can be applied towards a degree at institutions, and that previous credit can be evaluated towards the degree that you're pursuing. It can be an asset, really, and it may decrease the amount of time that you'll need to pursue the degree. So it's definitely not a preventative situation to have previous credit. It can actually be an asset, and you may even be in a situation where you could receive prior learning credit or military credit towards your degree. So navigators can connect adult learners to individuals at the institutions that can evaluate this previous learning credit. There's a process, and it's a little bit different per school. So the best thing to do is let your navigator assist you in who to reach out to at your particular community college, technical school, four-year institution about receiving prior learning credit for work that you have done. Let's say you've been in your career for many years and you have developed expertise and skills, and you want to see if any of those could be applied towards actual college credit in the pursuit of your degree. If you're in the military or have been in the military, there's a chance that some of that time, the education and the experiences and the expertise gained could be applied towards your degree. So prior credit is not a bad thing whatsoever. Next slide, please. The myth that I can't use the Tennessee Reconnect grant if I already have a degree. Well, if you already have a degree, you can't use the Tennessee Reconnect grant at a community college, but you can or a four-year institution. But you can use that Tennessee Reconnect grant, TCAT Reconnect grant funds at a technical school, no matter what type of degree that you have. Next slide, please. My previous college GPA makes me ineligible to receive the Tennessee Reconnect grant. And this one is we encounter often. Many of our adults have attended college in the past and something happened, life happened, and they had to withdraw and take care of a loved one, or maybe they experienced an illness themselves. There's a variety of reasons in which people have had to stop out, and they may have attended before and received poor grades and gotten a lower GPA. The fact is that when you begin using Tennessee Reconnect grant dollars, your GPA begins being evaluated at that time. So you're not, the GPA that you have from previous credit does not affect your Tennessee Reconnect eligibility once you start receiving it. So you do have to maintain a 2.0 GPA once you start receiving the Tennessee Reconnect grant and moving forward, but the past credit that you have and the GPA from the past is not going to affect your eligibility to receive the grant. So the myth that a Reconnect navigator can confirm your eligibility is not true, but I want to stress that a Reconnect navigator can assist you in looking at the eligibility criteria, can help you have a discussion. For example, you tell your navigator, hey, I have an associate's degree from Nashville State Community College, for example. Okay, well, your navigator can go ahead and tell you you're not going to be eligible for the Tennessee Reconnect grant. But if there's any question around the different criteria, the final word from for your eligibility comes from the institution that you attend. They're the ones that are receiving the paperwork, the FAFSA form, your admissions application, all those things that they need to determine your eligibility. So what a navigator can do is help you talk through the points and get an understanding of what the eligibility criteria is. And then maybe if you're not eligible, we can talk about how you might become eligible. We know you're not eligible for a reason. If it's a degree, well, then that's not something that you can change. However, maybe you did receive the grant in the past and something happened. You might be able to appeal to get the grant reinstated. So there's all kinds of different situations in which you need that individual guidance from your navigator to help you determine that eligibility. But at the end of the day, the school is the one who makes that official determination, and we can connect you to individuals at the school who can let you know for sure. Am I eligible? Am I not eligible? Next slide, please. So the myth that once I begin using the Tennessee Reconnect grant, I'm not allowed to change my major. This one is extremely common. We get this question a lot. The fact is, adults can change their major while using the Tennessee Reconnect grant. They just need to be aware of some things around how this might affect their graduation day, as the amount of time that they need to attend, keeping in mind that the Tennessee Reconnect grant eligibility has a term of 5 academic years. So if you change your major and it adds some time on, you need to be aware that you have 5 years from when you start receiving the Tennessee Reconnect grant to continue to receive aid to pursue your credential. You also want to work directly with your academic advisor at your institution for those implications. How much more time might this be? How many more credits am I going to need to pursue in order to get my degree? All things are doable. It's completely doable. You just need to consult the correct individuals, your navigator, your academic advisor at your school before making those changes. Next slide, please. So earlier I mentioned we had a team of navigators that work with people who are incarcerated, and I'm going to turn it back over to Jessica to explain more about that program.
Yes, thanks, Tina. So in late 2019, early 2020, we began offering specific services to incarcerated or formerly incarcerated individuals who are interested in pursuing a post-secondary degree. So we have a team of Reentry Reconnect navigators across the state who visit 9 state prisons to work with justice impacted individuals on pursuing degrees and credentials. And they can do this either by directing them to programs, as Tina mentioned earlier, that exist within the prison facilities, or to help get them on the path once they're back in the free world to enroll in on-campus courses. Next slide, please, Destiny. So as I mentioned, they will actually go into the facilities and work with individuals that are about 2 years prior to release to start working on their plans for what they would like to do in post-secondary education. While they're incarcerated, they work with them, and they also continue to work with them once they're released and back in the free world to really provide a bridge so that they continue to pursue that goal that they've set of post-secondary degree. They'll also work with individuals that they did not work with in prison, but are just as impacted back in the free world and need some assistance in navigating the post-secondary education system. The students who are just as impacted often have additional needs, and our navigators can refer them to community partner agencies that can provide another layer of support. And as with regional navigators or reentry navigators really identify the barriers, help that student identify the barriers and address those barriers based on where they live and what their needs are and what the requirements are post-release for those individuals. The key here is that the reentry navigator the goal is to work with the individual while incarcerated and through the process of release back into the free world and continue with them all the way through the college program into graduation. So it provides an easier transition while navigating all of the other requirements of release as well. So this program, we're serving several thousand students in this area right now, and continue to grow this program and reach out to folks within the community that could benefit from these reentry services. Next slide, Destiny. And I guess we are open for Q&A for everything we've talked about so far. Tennessee Reconnect grant, Navigate Reconnect. And then after this Q&A, we actually have more information for you.
So I actually have a question. With the funding that's available through the Tennessee Reconnect grant, you said it's specifically for a community college or a TCAT. Is there any funding available for adults to pursue classes at a university level? Or how does that work if someone, goes through the Reconnect process, uses the Reconnect grant for their maybe associate's degree and they wanted to continue on? Would a navigator maybe help them with some financial aid in the university sense? Like, could you talk just a little bit about that?
Absolutely, Sarah. That's a great question. Thank you for that. First and foremost, if individuals that do not have an associate's degree are considering four-year institutions, we do have two public institutions at which the Tennessee Reconnect grant can be public four-year institutions, and that is Tennessee State University in the Nashville area and also Austin Peay in the in the Crossville, sorry, APSU, Austin Peay State University in Clarksville. So those are our two public four-year institutions where the Tennessee Reconnect grant can be utilized for students. And then we have several private four-year institutions that have associate degree programs. So it's important to note that the Tennessee Reconnect grant itself is for an associate's level degree, but we have many students who go through an associate's level degree either at a community college or an eligible four-year institution. Most of them, again, are private, but we do have those two public institutions. And then we assist them towards pursuing bachelor degrees at four-year universities. So the assistance is there no matter what. We do have a significant portion of adult learners in the state who are not eligible for Tennessee Reconnect for one reason or another. Maybe they do already have a degree and they're looking to go back for another degree, or maybe they aren't attending an institution that is eligible for the Reconnect grant funds, and that's all okay. We assist all adults who are pursuing higher education in the entire state. I'm happy to say that many of our students stay with us throughout pursuit of their four-year degree as well. So maybe they start out with us, get their associate's degree, go on to a four-year institution. We stay with them through the process. We do have relationships and partnerships with four-year institutions as well that we can draw upon to assist our students with their questions and things like that. And then we've been around long enough to have graduates that have pursued their PhD even. So wherever you are going, whatever level of education you're pursuing as an adult in the state, Navigate Reconnect is here for you.
That's awesome. This might be jumping ahead just a little bit, but how does somebody actually get connected with a navigator? Or if I know someone who maybe wants to go back to school, who would I send them to?
That's a great question. The quickest and easiest way is via our website, and we will have a slide later on that shows exactly how to get there, but it's TennesseeReconnect.gov, easy to remember, tnreconnect.gov, and we have a link called Talk to a Navigator. That's the easiest way. But Sarah, for example, if you have someone that you know personally, send me an email or give me a call. Hey, Tina, this is my friend. They're interested in this area. Who's the best person for them to work with? I'm happy to take referrals that way. Jessica as well, Destiny, our entire team of regional directors and navigators. So really, it's not important on how they get to us. That interest form is quick and easy. We have a team of individuals responding as soon as that form is filled out. We have a quick turnaround time in which we reach out to individuals and let them know, hey, let's set up a call. Let's have a conversation. and see where you're at in your educational journey. And then we'll talk about next steps from there once we've talked to you about your needs. So that's the best way. We have partners refer individuals directly to us. We go out into the community and set up tables where we can talk to people in person about the services we offer and what we can help them with. Our social media sites will also have more information about that as well, are really good ways to see what's going on with us, where we're going to be in person, where you can talk to us. But if it's just someone that, hey, we're just getting started out, that website and that interest form that we have there when you click on Talk to a Navigator is the quickest, easiest, most direct way to reach out.
Perfect. Okay, one more question for you now before we keep going. If a student loses the Reconnect grant, can they get it back? Like if maybe, let's say their GPA drops below that 2.0, or maybe they take a semester off and they want to come back, is it possible to get that back?
That's a great question. GPA, the only way in which a student couldn't appeal. We do have an appeals process for extenuating circumstances, such as they drop below the amount of credit hours. I mentioned we have to have 6 credit hours per major semester, fall and spring. You have to enroll and complete those courses with at least a 2.0 GPA, and that's evaluated yearly. So that would be, for example, if someone had a medical emergency during that time and they needed to drop below, they needed to drop one of their classes they weren't able to complete or something like that. That is something that this individual could appeal. So we have an entire process set up. GPA actually is the only one. If your GPA drops below the 2.0, again, it's not evaluated every semester. It's only evaluated once an academic year. So for example, if you go in the fall and you've had a difficult class and just weren't able to complete it successfully the first time, or something happened in life happened to you and you weren't able to receive a passing grade for that, you have another semester. So you could perhaps take a class over or appeal submitting documentation. And so it is possible to appeal loss of the Tennessee Reconnect grant depending on the circumstances. Documentation will be asked for. So, if you had to care for a loved one, a letter from a doctor or something along those lines, just something showing what your individual circumstances are to the appeals committee. And it is very, it's a layered process to appeal. You must first appeal with your institution and then the Tennessee Student Assistance Corporation, but navigators are here to help students with that. So if they lose, first of all, backing up to if a student is encountering difficulty in their semester, we definitely request that the student reach out to us so we can help them properly withdraw if that's something they need to do, because that's a process within itself, or how to reach out to their professors about difficulty in a class and how that might be resolved, that type of thing. So we want adult learners to let us know what's going on so we can hopefully help prevent some of those types of things that ends up with people losing the grant. So we want to help you, and we want to help prevent that with reminders about deadlines and assistance with navigating the entire process itself, including how you communicate with your institution. But if it gets to that point, definitely reach out to the navigators so that we can make a plan for how you would appeal, help you understand what that process looks like and how to go from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tina. I appreciate your help.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I think that's all of our questions for right now. So we'd love to keep rocking and rolling.
Okay, you guys, I hope you guys can hear me okay. I am going to transition us into the ambassador program part of today, as well as when we end, we're going to show you ways you can connect with us. I'm going to show you that referral where you can connect with the navigator part of the website and things of that nature. But for the sake of right now, I wanted to introduce to you the Tennessee Reconnect Ambassador Program. And so our program was created to foster community connections and provide vital support to adults embarking in post-secondary. And I say embarking, but it's really supporting them to and through their post-secondary journey as an ambassador. And so our Reconnect ambassador is an individual that is connected to their community, offering encouragement and support for those adults interested in pursuing a credential. Our ambassadors serve as an active player in adults' entire college journey, and they are champions of the Tennessee Reconnect programs and will refer adults to go through our Tennessee Reconnect programs. So the work of ambassadors, and I say work, very loosely. We use that term very loosely when we're talking about our ambassadors, but the work of our ambassadors is broken into 3 pillars. And just for the sake of time today, I'm just going to kind of highlight what those 3 pillars are. But the first is an ambassador is able to, or they're trained to be able to identify adults in their network that have goals that involve needing post-secondary. Maybe those goals are revolving around changing their career or upskilling, things of that nature, being able to identify a potential student. And then second is being able to have a conversation about how college fits into that goal of the adult learner. So think of an ambassador as someone who opens the door to a conversation that an adult has been thinking about or wanting to have, but they didn't necessarily know how to start, who to even start that conversation with, and things of that nature. And then our last pillar is our ambassadors refer adults to work with Tennessee Reconnect navigators. And in the coming slides, I'll show you guys what that looks like. And so one thing that we have learned is with adults specifically, and this is really this could be a traditional age students, but with adults, they often feel more comfortable talking with someone that they already connect with, which is where our ambassadors come into play. So we train our ambassadors to be able to have those conversations about college and refer them to our navigators and inspire along the way. So the role of a Tennessee Reconnect ambassador is very simple. First, we ask that ambassadors inspire adults by encouraging and supporting post-secondary education that aligns with the goal that the adult learner has. We ask that ambassadors are a resource as they go to and through the college journey. We ask our ambassadors to be a confidant because you are a trusted person to that adult as an ambassador. And so we anticipate that they will discuss the challenges that will arise during their journey to graduation. And then finally, which we've already alluded to, but it's to be a connector. Ambassadors connect students to a larger network of support, which will lead me to showing you guys the referral process to Tennessee, our Navigate team. Okay, so this slide is a screenshot of what the website looks like. If you go to tnreconnected.gov and you click connect with the navigator, you can access the interest form. You can also scan this QR code. And I think there's some chat going on about issues in the website and I can't keep up, so I'm not sure if you can currently do this. So bear with us on that. But if you click connect with a navigator, it's going to lead to a short, simple form that obtains some personal information from that adult learner, and then a navigator that is local to that adult's region will be in contact with them very shortly after submitting that form. So to kind of conclude our ambassador program, when our ambassadors go through our training, we really want ambassadors to understand that we are asking them to be an informed advocate of our programs and for just post-secondary education in Tennessee as a whole. We also want them to be an encouraging supporter and, of course, a referral provider to our programs. Our ambassadors are not college enrollment experts. They are not financial aid counselors, and they are not academic advisors, although sometimes they are overlap because we do have ambassadors from institutions that serve in those capacities. But a Tennessee Reconnect ambassador is not expected to know all of the information of those other experts. Those experts exist and they are ready and willing to serve our adult learners, and we maintain great relationships with them to be able to refer them, the adults, to work with those experts, so the ambassadors do not have to do all of the legwork. We just want ambassadors to stay informed, have those conversations, support students to and through their college journey, and then refer them back to Navigate Reconnect as that opens the door to even more support for them. So how do you become a Reconnect ambassador? We have interested adults all through Tennessee. If you're interested in becoming an ambassador, we have 1 hour virtual or in-person trainings, just kind of depending on where we're at in the year. And so since you guys are on this call today, we did want to invite you to our upcoming ambassador training. So if this is something you're interested in, or maybe you have a colleague or your team organization is interested in this, you can scan this QR code. We are also going to drop some links in the chat that will direct you to this sign up form as well. And we can send this out. I know there were some requests to send out the slides, which we can do, and we can also send this information out. But it's a 1 hour virtual training in May. We do have them set up by region, but you can select the one that aligns better with your schedule. You don't have to stick to the region that you represent, but we do prefer that if your schedule allows for that. And one other way you can become an ambassador is we offer organizational ambassador trainings. So maybe your organization as a team or as a whole could benefit from becoming Tennessee Reconnect ambassadors. We see this a lot with various organizations across the state. Then you can reach out to me via email and we are happy to arrange that either virtual or in person. We can kind of go through the logistics of that. So we have the individual ambassador trainings that are open for everyone. We do have those scheduled ready to go next month. Or if you would like a more structured organization specific training, email me and we can go from there on that planning. And then finally, these are just a handful of ways that you can connect with us. We did go ahead and list all of our contact information below. So everyone that you heard on the call today, you've got our name, title, and then of course, phone and email. So feel free to reach out if you have any feedback, questions, concerns, anything of that nature. Of course, all of our information is at tnreconnect.gov, pending that website issue. I'm so sorry, I'm not sure what the update on that is. And then if you are on social media, we are on every major platform. You can find us at TN Reconnect. So if you want to stay in the loop on what's going on, see some fun things that's going on all across the state serving adult learners with our Navigate Reconnect team, please feel free to give us a follow on our social media. And that is it for what we have for you guys today. We just really want to appreciate you for taking the time to learn more about Tennessee Reconnect and how we serve Tennesseans all across the state. And we will end with any last questions that we need to address, but thank you guys so much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Destiny, and thanks to everybody. Just a couple of last questions here for you. One, Suzette actually put in the chat. She said she heard that they may lower the eligible age for the Tennessee Reconnect grant to age 21. Has that happened? Do we know when that would happen? I think I heard you all say 23, something about being the age 23, or maybe that had to do with FAFSA filing. So could you touch on that?
Jessica, would you answer this question for us?
Sure. So there is a bill in the legislature this session to lower the eligibility age of Tennessee Reconnect from 23, which it currently is, to 21. It's my understanding that the bill has been taken off notice in the House, meaning it's probably not going to go through this year. The Senate recommended it for passage, but the House did not, and both have to agree on that. So I think that we are, unless something changes in these last days before the General Assembly adjourns, I think we may probably see it come back up next year as something that folks are interested in doing. But currently, we're at 23.
That's awesome. Thank you for answering that. And then I just have one more question for you all, and anyone, if you all three want to answer, totally up to you. But would you mind sharing a story with us, like a success story of a student? Maybe there's something that really sticks out to you, a student that you heard about from one of your navigators, or that you've personally worked with, obviously keeping with any anonymity that needs to be there, but just to kind of encourage the mission. Is there any story of a particular student in mind that really kind of fuels you in this work for Tennessee Reconnect?
Jessica, would you mind sharing either Jeremy's or a reentry story first to kick us off?
Sure, I will actually share. That's the one that came to mind for me. So there's a student that encountered our reentry navigator, one of our reentry navigators, Sue Lee, at Turney Center when they were incarcerated. And Sue worked with him, and once he was and he'd gone through a program in the prison facility. Once he was back in the free world, she continued to work with him. And when someone's been incarcerated for so long, there have been a lot of changes in our world since they first went in and when they leave. And Sue really served as a touchstone for him in a lot of ways. But Jeremy himself has been incredibly successful. He obtained an associate degree. He is pursuing his bachelor's degree now, I believe. And has his own business. And he is actually working for the state in the Department of Labor's new Office of Reentry. So Jeremy gets to work with people, educate them on what justice impacted students go through, and really working in all ways to improve policy to support these individuals in their re-entry really into the free world and back home. So his is a really inspiring story. If you ever have a chance to hear Jeremy White speak and he speaks a lot, I would take advantage of it. He's quite inspiring.
That's awesome. I think, was he one of the ones who was a part of the THEC reentry simulation?
Yes, he was. So he and his team lead what's wonderful, and it is a reentry simulation that takes people through what someone experiences once they're back in the free world, the requirements that they have to meet, and really the processes they have to go through. It's quite eye-opening. And they offer it also free to groups that want to learn about this. So that's another really wonderful resource if any of your organizations or agencies or entities want to take advantage of it. It's well worth it.
Yeah, I will say, just speaking from personal experience, I went through the simulation, I guess it was last week, and it was, talk about eye-opening. It was, and it was only like 2 hours of trying to, navigate reentry into the free world, given, taking on a certain person's identity. And it was really an incredible experience. So I would highly recommend that if anybody wants to use that for their organizations or their staff. It was really incredible. So.
And if you're interested, shoot me an email and I'll connect you with that office and Jeremy specifically.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have a fun story they want to share?
I'll share a story. It's really hard to hone in. We have so many success stories, but a lot of my favorites are parents who tell us they're going back to inspire their children. And one of those was actually interviewed about Tennessee Reconnect, and it made the news, and we got statewide attention over that. But it's also such a great story because this reconnector ended up going to college with her daughter at Roane State Community College, that's in our East region. And so she had the assistance of a Reconnect navigator that works in that area to go back to school, and just talked about the importance of wanting to do that to show her daughter that it was possible, that and the fact that she could receive, her daughter, if I'm not mistaken, received Tennessee Promise funds, which is available to people who are graduating, who are not what we call adult learners, even though they're over the age of 18. If they're just graduating high school, they can be eligible for the Tennessee Promise grant. So her daughter was receiving state funds to pursue her associates at Roane State, and she was receiving Tennessee Reconnect grant funds and the assistance of a Reconnect navigator to graduate from Roane State. So that's one of my favorites because our parents, we have so many adult learners that are parents, and it's just so great to see that that's their motivator, is helping their own children understand the value of education and what a credential can do for the student.
That's amazing. I got chills while you're talking about that. That's just so sweet. Very full circle too. And even at the beginning when you referenced about why some adults want to go back to school and or pursue an education for the first time, and to inspire or to set an example for their kids, I think that's really beautiful. Really, really beautiful.
I just want to add real quick, Sarah, if you all are experiencing any difficulty with our website, or getting to our Reconnect interest form, anything like that, send me an email. And if we can't get the form working for you, I can enter the information manually. It's not a problem. We can get you connected with a navigator and how to move forward from there. If you're having a technical problem, there's lots of different ways to start working with a navigator. So I can help with that. So please don't let that stop you. We'll definitely fix that problem directly if that's something that you're experiencing. So just let us know.
Perfect. All righty. Anybody have any closing thoughts before we wrap up? Any of our panelists?
I can chime in just real quick. One thing, with my position, I don't work directly with students, but in my position, I have the privilege of being able to read all of the submissions. We have adult learners that send in their success or their stories. We call them success stories because that's what they are. But we have a questionnaire that we send out to our reconnectors, and we ask them to share whatever they want to share about their story, and then provide advice to future adult learners and things of that nature. And it's such a highlight of my day or my week whenever I get to go in and see that we have a new submission. We do post those on our social media, so feel free to go through and see any recent ones that we've got out there. But we have everything from single mothers. We have lots of parent students that have had to overcome lots of barriers. We have a lot of graduates that had to overcome going to school during the COVID time and what that looked like if they had to pause and come back, or maybe they started college as an 18-year-old and then life happened and then here they are at 34 working with a navigator to come back, and then now seeing them graduate and then being able to share insight or advice. It's just great to read. It's always a feel good moment of my, like I said, day or week whenever I get to read those. So the work that we're doing statewide is inspiring to so many, and we just hope that we can inspire others to keep this going.
I bet that's so fun to get to read those stories. That's so sweet. So, okay, it looks like we have one more question that just popped into the chat. If a student is going to a TCAT, do they need to apply for Reconnect on the TSAC website, or will completing the FAFSA and applying to a TCAT suffice? Does that make sense?
That does make sense, and that's an excellent question. Thank you, Mary Ellen, for that question. To receive the TCAT Reconnect grant, the only application that you need to fill out is the free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA form, and of course the application to the individual TCAT that you want to attend. There's not a separate application for TCAT Reconnect in the Tennessee Student Assistance portal. That application is for Tennessee Reconnect. Sometimes people fill it out and that's okay. That's not a problem. Your TCAT branch will evaluate you for eligibility for the TCAT Reconnect grant. You don't have to do a separate application. You just need to make sure you do your FAFSA application and your application to that particular branch of TCAT. So excellent question.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much to everybody who has joined us. I know that a lot of our attendees are some of our K-12 school partners. And so we just want to also just emphasize that you all have such a special role in that you do get to interact with parents a lot. And so if you ever find yourself having the opportunity to facilitate a FAFSA night, or even do parent teacher conferences, or anything where you're getting a touch point with parents, if you feel like you have a parent that you interact with who would benefit from this, we would just really encourage you to tell them about it. Even if you don't know a ton about Tennessee Reconnect, maybe this was your introduction to how it all works, you can always direct them to the website and encourage them to talk to a navigator, even just to gather a little bit more information. So we just want to say thank you for that, because you have such an important role in our just in the support that happens in the school system. So we don't want to, we can't overstate how important that is. So we just want to thank you all for that. And with that,
can I offer up one more thing? If there's anyone on the call that does interact with a lot of parents and thinks that they're going to have a lot of interest, we do have push cards. So they're little informational postcards. I'd be happy to send you a pack if you're interested. And it's just basic information about the Reconnect grant. So if that's of interest, you can email me and I'm happy to send you some that you can hand
That's
out.
an excellent point, Jessica. And I would add too that we have navigators across the state in different regions. If you're having a FAFSA night, please invite them. They'd be happy to attend and talk to your parents as well as regional directors in each of our 3 regions across the state. So absolutely, the push cards are a great way to have something in hand to give out to people. But we can also arrange to have someone visit your school if that's something you're interested in.
I love those ideas. That's perfect. Yes, as much as we can spread the word, the better. It's always a great thing to be able to talk to all of our adults across the state. So, all right. Well, thank you everyone so much for joining us. As a reminder, we'll have this webinar posted. I'm going to go ahead and pause our recording and just want to say a big thank you to everyone who joined us. So thanks so much, everyone. We hope to see you at our next webinar for TN.